Happy Monday, guys. It is Monday. Welcome. I'm Alexandra. I'm founder of Life with Herpes. I'm excited to be with you here today. I hope all the mommies out there had a beautiful Mother's Day and you're off to a great start with your Monday. Okay, so if you are new to watching my lives, welcome. If you've been here with my wispies and bedhead, if you've been here before, you know that I get hundreds of questions. I do my best to go through them in the order that they're received. Sometimes the app mixes them up or around. This is your opportunity to ask your questions about what it's like to live with herpes. I was diagnosed with HSV1 in 2003, and I was diagnosed with HSV2 in 2011. I've been speaking publicly about this since 2017. So I have been going live. I've created what's called Life with Herpes brand. I have a website. I have a YouTube channel. I have some toolkits out there. I have wellness products for your skin, all sorts. I have an online community. I have all sorts of things for us to support us with our herpes diagnosis. So something that we may not know is there are millions of people living with herpes. You may feel like you're the only one, but there are millions of people. 2 out of 3 people have HSV1 and 1 out of 6 have HSV2. So it is something that it is extremely common, yet nobody's talking about it because of the stigma. All right. Like I said, if you're new, welcome. If you know someone that has herpes, please share this information with them. Like I said, I've been talking about this live since 2017. So definitely share this. And if you are new to watching me and have not followed me yet, I do my best to go live as often as possible. I try 5 days a week. Sometimes it's 4. But anyways, I go live to just educate, tell stories, answer your questions. Hi, Catherine. Answer your questions and therefore. So go on ahead and ask them. When I get hundreds of questions and sometimes it's hard for me to get to them all. One of the things that one of the questions I asked my support group this morning, we have a support group. We go live as a community twice a week. We go live Monday morning and Monday evening. So Monday morning is a little bit different than Monday evening. Anyways, I don't know where I was going off right now. I'm like, I don't know why I can't get my words out. Anyways, the icebreaker question I asked the community today is, if you didn't have herpes, what would you do different in your life? If you didn't have herpes, what would you do different in your life? And so I think this is a really great question because you start to think about it and you're like, well, because we put all these handicaps on ourselves that like, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this because I have herpes. And then let's take the herpes away. Do you still have those same handicaps? Are those really real? Or are they, you're like, I'm just putting there because I think that I have herpes and so I should feel this way. So my answer, I would eat more peanut butter. I don't eat a lot of peanut butter because peanut butter gives me herpes outbreaks. Peanuts for some people are a huge trigger for people living with herpes. Other people can eat whatever they want. Someone said here, I think it's harder to date with herpes. It may be. I think it depends on what we're looking for when we're dating. So what I mean by that, I'm just reading through the comments. What I mean by that is, one of the things that I think we don't do prior to having herpes, a lot of times we don't set expectations. A lot of times we're like, yeah, I like you, you like me, let's just date and see where it goes. And a lot of times we are just going with the flow and not setting expectations and not talking about other things and not talking about our needs, our wants, our concerns, maybe other diagnoses that we have. So by having herpes, it requires us to maybe take a pause, maybe slow down, maybe spend some time just with ourselves to figure out what we want. And then when you know what you can want, you can go into dating and you can lead with, these are some things that are important to me. And if that person is really into you, he or she will be willing to listen and be willing to understand where we are. How old I am? How old am I? Why don't you guys guess how old I am? You have herpes too? I totally understand. Can herpes go into anything else? No, it's just going to stay as herpes. At this point, from what we know, it doesn't transmute or transform or change or go into something else. It doesn't like start off stage 1 herpes and go into stage 4 herpes. You have herpes. It's a virus that you'll have for the rest of your life. You may or may not deal with outbreaks, and that's basically all it is. Does meditation... So as far as meditation, that's something it's pretty new to my life, my lifestyle. I mean, I always knew I was supposed to do it, but I was like, I don't have time. Anyways, meditation's been instrumental and grounding, spending time, like slowing down, taking my breath. Meditation's been instrumental in literally clearing the negative things out of my body, like just mentally, and then also picking herpes, like removing that from my body. It's been extremely helpful for me. What type do I have? I have type 1 and I have type 2. I have type 1 oral and I have type 2 genital. So I have both types of herpes. I have to say, for someone that has both oral and genital herpes, I would far rather have genital herpes because people don't know when you have an outbreak. No one's going to know unless it's your intimate partner. Oral herpes, like people can see you walking around with a cold sore. You know, that can be kind of intimidating, or not intimidating, but like humiliating. So Catherine is saying that her life has significantly improved. I found value in yourself I never would have had without herpes. I love hearing that because that's exactly what I am trying to get across. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Getting herpes forces us to get our shit together. In other words, it's like, what am I going to do? All right, here we go. You have to become more confident. You either become a victim to your diagnosis or you get stronger. It's one or the other. Who's going to win, the herpes diagnosis or you? What's going to happen here? So I love that you say that. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the follows. I see the follows. I appreciate that. Thank you. Like I said, if you know someone that has herpes, please share this information with them. Also, the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. I love seeing the hearts. Obviously, I have a big heart on. I have lots of hearts. Thank you for the follows and the hearts, and I appreciate that. Can herpes go into anything else? My doctor tested for HIV. I don't have, but can it go into that? No. HIV, HPV, HSV are different viruses. There's a lot of H's and a lot of V's in there, but they're different things. HSV will always be HSV, herpes simplex virus, HSV. Herpes simplex virus 1, herpes simplex virus 2, HSV1 or HSV2. HSV1 will never be HSV2, HSV2 will never be HSV1, HSV will never be HIV, HSV will never be HPV. So it'll stay as is. You think I'm 33. All right, any other guesses on how old you think I am? What type do I have? I have both types. Is medication needed daily in order not to give it to your partner? So according to the FDA, they suggest that taking the antiviral is the best way to prevent transmission to a partner. I'm going to say I'm going to leave that up to you and your partner to what you guys want to do. If you have a strong immune system, if your partner has a strong immune system, if you are not getting lots of outbreaks, obviously you're most contagious during outbreaks. So obviously if you don't have outbreaks, it significantly lessens the ability to transfer. It doesn't mean you're out of the woods. It doesn't mean that you are not going to transfer herpes. You can still transfer herpes asymptomatically. It's through shedding. The virus sheds just like anything else sheds. Trees drop their leaves. If I were to scratch my arm right now, you know, things that we get, like flakes of my skin come off that we can't really even see. My body's shedding, so the virus likes to do the exact same thing. It sheds. When that happens, us as the hosts do not know that we're shedding, just like other viruses out there, right? We probably shed them all the time and have no idea. So, you're back to your question. So it cannot go into HIV. You don't understand why doctors test if I have herpes. So the reason why doctors are testing you for HIV or other STDs is because they assume that because you have herpes, you live a promiscuous lifestyle. That is their assumption, and they're just checking their boxes. I'm sure statistically, people that have one or two or one STD are more likely to get other STDs. So they're going with a numbers game of if you so for example, if you're intimate with 100 people, you're clearly far more likely at contracting, STDs, STIs, than someone that has one partner, right? Clearly, it's a numbers game at that point. So they are assuming that if you have an STD, like I do, like you do, that you are more promiscuous. You have multiple partners. So if you have multiple partners, you're more likely to pick up another STD. That's their assumption, whether it's correct or not. But I think everyone can agree that if you do have more partners, you are at a higher risk. So especially because most people are not responsible with safe sex. We're just not. We're not taught to be. It's not cool. We're just not responsible. Can it be transmitted to my baby? It cannot be transmitted to your baby while pregnant. So you then put medication. So the medication, the doctors say you can take the antivirals while pregnant. I personally did not. I did not take it while pregnant until it was my delivery date, until it was like a month out before my due date. Some people take it their whole pregnancy. Some people do not. I chose not to. Can herpes be transmitted to your baby in utero? No. Can herpes be transmitted to your child during birth? Yes. And so that is why they have you take the antiviral, so it prevents you from getting an outbreak. Did you get both types from the same person? I thought you couldn't have both types. I did not get both types. I got one type from when I was 20 from someone I went on a date with, and he kissed me goodnight with a cold sore. So I got HSV1 from him, and then I got HSV2 8 years later with somebody else I was dating. You can have both types. It's not common to have both types. Your body typically recognizes the viral DNA and goes, oh, this is just what I already have. If you get both, probably it's a big wake-up sign to you to say, hey, my immune system is shot. What do I need to do to fix it? Most people do not get both types. Is medication needed in order to prevent or to not transmit to your partner? The CDC or the FDA is going to say that. That's what the medical community says is, hey, take the antiviral. It's going to prevent transmission to our partner. It's not guaranteed. It lessens the transmission rate by 48%. It significantly reduces it. However, it's not 100% guaranteed. Is one worse than the other? HSV1 is far more common than HSV2. 2 out of 3 people have HSV1 and 1 out of 6 have HSV2. So type 1 is more common than type 2. Type 1, typically people have less outbreaks than type 2. People with type 2 typically have more outbreaks, but that's just here or there. It's your particular body. Is there one worse than the other? Not really. They look the same, do the same, act the same. They can be in either location. They kind of do the same thing. What should I do when I see a flare-up coming on? I like to do a couple of things. Thank you for the follows, guys. I'm seeing the follows. I really appreciate that. What would I do when I see a flare-up coming? I would, number one, make sure I have my supplements. So I like to take I like to take Lysine. This is what I take daily. This is what helps block the replication, slows down the replication of the herpes virus. I take this daily. It was out, you guys. It just came back in stock late last week. I do have it linked, so it is now back in stock, which I'm stoked on. I was running low myself. So I take Lysine, I take it daily, and then if I feel something coming on, I immediately take some, and then I will take more throughout the day. The next thing I take is Monolaurin. Same thing. I feel an outbreak coming on. I immediately up my Monolaurin. Monolaurin is lauric acid, and what it does is it helps break down the outer shell of the herpes virus. The herpes virus has a shell that our immune system cannot penetrate, and so this goes in and disrupts it so that our immune system can go in and fight it. The next thing I take is Andrographis, which is very, very potent in fighting the herpes virus. So I take these daily. When I feel something coming on, I up my Lysine and up my Monolaurin. Then the next thing I do is I like to use the Rescue Balm. I think it's absolutely awesome. I also like to use the Everyday Wellness Oil. That personally is my favorite, but I was just talking to some people today. They're like, no, this is better. I use it on the area that I feel the prodrome, and it definitely helps with the tingle, and it just helps fight it from the external way. So again, these are all linked for you, and these are what I take daily or use to prevent outbreaks. Will my first potential outbreak be really, really bad if I've been asymptomatic for 2 years? Probably not. Who knows? You just don't know. How old were you when you got it? I was 20 and 28. Did I have any complications delivering my son? No. I had no complications delivering my son. Oops. What are the symptoms and possible medications? So the symptoms of herpes can be swollen lymph nodes. It can be flu-like symptoms, body aches, and then you can feel a tingle, you can feel an itch, you can feel like a nerve pain, like a jolt of pain. And then, of course, blisters would be an obvious one. So those are kind of the symptoms that lead up to a herpes outbreak. Any possible medications, so typically you are prescribed a antiviral. It is Valtrex, Valtrex is the branded, is the like well-known antiviral, but there's also acyclovir and valcyclovir. What is 2? So type 2. There's type 1 and type 2, HSV1, HSV2. They're just different types of the virus. How long does your HSV2 outbreaks last? Now they last like 24 hours, 48 hours maybe. They're pretty fast at this point and pretty mild. I have both 2 and I've never had a type 1 outbreak. That's awesome. Yeah, type 1 typically isn't as persistent. If I have both and never had an outbreak, does that mean I will for sure one day? No, it doesn't mean that you will have. You could be asymptomatic your whole life. How do I bring it up to a potential partner I'm talking to that I like? I would wait to see when you're ready to be intimate with that person. And then I would go talking about it around like, what are you wanting out of this relationship? Is it casual? Is it not casual? Potentially start talking about vulnerable things in a relationship. Our partners, he or she has something that he or she needs to share. So that person is going to be potentially a little nervous about sharing something vulnerable, and that also can be a wonderful avenue to opening up a conversation. But I would just go into the safe sex. I'd go into sexual health. What are we doing? I'd love to be intimate with you. If so, let's go get tested. It's really important to me that we get tested. The reason why is I didn't have past partners do this, and because of that, I've ended up with HSV. So I'm negative for other things, but I'm positive for HSV. Are you familiar with that? It's extremely common. Most people don't even know they have it. 90% of the people living with genital herpes will never be diagnosed. And so it's really important to me that we both go get tested. I'm going to have to go in a few minutes. I have a call in 2 minutes. Show products again. So as far as the supplements, these are the supplements I take. They're linked for you. It's Monolaurin and Lysine. You do get 10% off. These are what I take daily to help prevent outbreaks in my body. And then as far as products, I do have a lot of different herpes products. Thank you for the roses. I do have a lot of different herpes products, but the most common, I don't have the oil here because I was using it. I had a herpes outbreak a couple weeks ago, is the Reviver soap. The soap is amazing, and it has it. So all of my products are formulated to help with the sting, to help with the pain, to help with wound repair, and help speed up recovery. This is what most people love to use on their down there outbreaks. Oops, on their outbreaks down there. It smells really good. It has a little peppermint eucalyptus. And then there's also an oil. The oil is my favorite. I like to apply that directly to my outbreak. But there's all sorts of different things. They're all linked for you. Why do you have 2 dates of infection? Because I have 2 types. I have type 1, HSV1, and type 2, HSV2. Why do you spend a ton of money on prevention supplements when antivirals are $20 a month? Personally, at this point, I don't want to be taking antivirals. I'd rather take something that is more natural and something that can supplement my immune system to help my body fight it on its own. So those products also help your immune system. So they're doing multi things. But if there's lots of people that are like, hey, I'd rather just take the antiviral. Cool. You do you. Do I take antivirals? I do not. And for those of you that are wondering, you're asking my age, I am 40. All right, guys, I apologize. Do I think the natural way works better? I would say it takes longer to work better. It's not an immediate fix, but I think over time you can potentially lessen your outbreaks. All right, I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for spending your Monday with me. I will see you soon. I have a call to jump on. Have a great day. Mwah. Bye. Okay, I can hit the bye button.